Welcome to episode 5 of the Laced Up Show. This is actually the very first episode, if you're listening live, where we're actually recording this live. So if you guys are listening back, definitely tune into our next live stream episode. But I'm your host today, Chase, with my co-host today, Landon, and we have another jam-packed episode for you guys today. But Landon, let's kick it off with you. What do we got?
All right, so our first episode today is going to be Clutch Sports, Rich Paul, and New Balance are launching a New Balance 550 collab. So, long known as one of LeBron James' inner circle of childhood friends, Rich Paul was part of an exclusive crew referred to as the Four Horsemen that included himself, the basketball superstar LeBron James, Maverick Carter, and Rich Mims. So, each have kind of gone on to establish their own ventures, and Paul is the closest to the game with his founding of the fast-growing Clutch Sports Agency, which since its establishment in 2012 has racked up an all-star roster of clients. So to celebrate the hard work and achievements of Rich Paul, New Balance has worked with him to create a unique basketball-centric capsule that kind of features the beloved New Balance 550 design. So these will feature a cream white upper, navy blue accents, and hints of yellow and baby blue. And this 550 is further set apart with ample use of perforations at tone and tongue and ankles. So, this is going to make him the first agent ever to have a sneaker collab. So, just what are your thoughts on this collab in general, the color scheme, and even just the New Balance 550, since, we haven't really messed with it too much personally?
I don't mind the 550 model. I really do like the collaboration what they did. I don't know how much actually was involved with it. I do like the baby blue. I think a lot of people like the baby blue, and I think the resale kind of shows that it is reselling for a couple $100 over retail, so
which is good right now with the way the market is.
Yeah,
shoes are almost $20 to $50 over retail whenever you're talking about just like resale value now before release date even. So
yeah, I think it's a pretty cool collab. I mean, I don't really does Rich Paul really deserve it is another question. I don't know. I don't really know about Rich Paul. Like, here's the thing.
Let me give you a few more real quick, just so you can, because I know that this is a little more my realm of like basketball and different stuff like that. So, like I said, he's a sports agent, first agent to ever get a sneaker collab. I said all that already.
Mm-hmm.
He's got like big name clients like Anthony Davis, Ben Simmons, Draymond Green. So like big name guys that a lot of other clients would like to have. So that kind of he knows what he's doing. And he even made big changes in like the basketball world, because he changed like the entire former like landscape of like sports agency deals, because at one point the NCAA was like they required you to have a bachelor's degree to be a sports agent. And he actually, like, they instituted the Rich Paul rule is what it came to be known as, because he argued that, like, requiring a 4-year degree from college, all that's going to accomplish is, like, systematically excluding everyone who comes from, like, a troubled background.
Right.
For people who college isn't realistic. They instituted the Rich Paul rule, where you don't have to have a bachelor degree to become a sports agent. So I thought that was something that's really cool. And I guess growing up, he always had like a love for fashion, but like never really had the resources to express it. So he just wanted to create a shoe to inspire people to be themselves. So that's kind of some of the background info on him and the shoe.
Yeah, I mean, now you telling me that, it kind of opens a door to like more like a different types of collabs, because the only real person that I've ever really heard that's gotten a collab that isn't really either in sports or as a celebrity would probably be like Gary Vaynerchuk, and with who was it with? I can't.
K-Swiss.
Yeah, K-Swiss.
K-Swiss.
I think
actually
that was
have him on right now.
Oh, do you really?
I do. I have him on right now.
I think those. I think
K-Swiss.
There you go.
Out there.
So it's kind of interesting, because it's like, I guess I would almost technically call him a businessman, and it's kind of cool.
Sports agent though, so it is automatically related to sports,
right? But like
by association.
But by the way you described his story, I think he still would have gotten this collab even if he wasn't associated with the NBA. So like if he was just like any entrepreneur and he was coming up this way, I think he would have still gone it. So I think it's pretty cool. I think it actually opens the door to a lot more different types of people getting these collabs, and hopefully he was actually pretty involved with this collab. Because that's what I really hope for is, if you are gonna get a collab, they're not just writing off your name on it.
Tie your name to it.
Yeah, I just don't want a money grab. But
No, I feel you.
any other thoughts on this before we move on,
No,
Landon?
that pretty much wraps it up. I just think it's just a cool thing
Yeah.
because he,
Well, they actually released today, so hopefully we get a
yeah,
pair.
yeah, no, that would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be nice. But yeah, moving on to that, what we got next?
All right, moving on. Looks like we got Nike is going to stop selling at one of America's largest shoe retailers. So Nike has just announced that they will stop selling at DSW as it cuts ties with many stores and shifts to selling more of its own products through Nike stores and, of course, their website. So Nike's finance chief, Matthew Friend, said in September that the brand has exited about 50% of its retail partners since 2017, and selling goods on Nike's own website and stores has netted Nike more than double the profit it would have received from selling through wholesale partners. So now, because of this move, rivals like Under Armour and Adidas have been following Nike's lead by also pulling back on their retail partners and focusing more on direct to consumer. So, Lana, what are your thoughts on this brand and Nike focusing on direct to consumer?
Yeah, this actually has. I have two thoughts on this. The first one is we used to do the whole. This is interesting. We kind of started to see it happening around the pandemic, which is it would have been. This says 2017, so I mean, pandemic was what 2019,
2020.
So yeah, it was a little bit after that. But I'd be going to stores, and we used to do the whole like walk into Burlington, walk into Marshall,
yeah.
see if you can find something,
Yeah,
try
the
and flip
grind.
it online, something like that. But you started to notice like all the product was getting pulled, the quality was getting less and less until like now you go to almost any Burlington Ross and like Marshalls and stuff, and you're gonna find no Nike, no Adidas, or at least the most basic models, like the stuff you'll find at Payless,
Yeah,
or something like that.
superstars.
Like just like super not high quality stuff. And you used to be able to find Kobe's and all different kinds of stuff at these stores. So I thought that was interesting. And this honestly, it honestly kind of sucks in this aspect of whenever we were getting into this business, whenever we actually got this little unit that we're in right now, we had aspirations of like, we're going to open up an account with Adidas and Nike and start selling their shoes. And we were close with Adidas, but just from the way it looks right now, it doesn't seem that it's going to get much easier for you to kind of have your own brand and want to start selling other people's products. Is that the way that it looks to you?
Yeah, so the way I've been kind of, reading the market, reading the room with these retailers, I mean, it makes sense. Like from their perspective,
It makes so much sense.
like
We always wondered, like, why would you send these nice shoes
yeah.
to these? Didn't Nike even start to dabble in their own? Like, we're gonna start selling our own used sneakers. Like, we're not even
Yeah,
just
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
get those.
There was
Like,
some
we're
article
just gonna
about
start
that.
selling
Yeah.
our own used sneakers too.
Returns, yeah.
Right.
So I think initially it was, so if you guys aren't interested or just not informed on how the whole wholesale market works, usually Nike will sell to a wholesale partner shoes at like 50% rate discounted. So if a shoe's retailing for 100, they'll sell it to the wholesaler for 50, and then the wholesaler will then, or retailer will sell it for 100, and so everyone makes their margin. So it just makes sense from a Nike standpoint. Like, why would I sell it for 50 when I have enough people that are going to buy it at 100? I might as well just sell it at 100 and double my profits. So I
Just
get
keeping
that.
all the product in house, but whatever made like when did these start happening? When did you decide that you wanted to do this? And then what made you actually realize like, hey, we're because Nike's been Nike forever.
Right.
Like Nike's been Nike for a long time. So I guess I'd be curious, like, when did they decide to start going to outside like consumers, and what made them realize, oh, we don't need to do that. We'll make because from the jump, you should have known like if we keep our product and sell it for our price, we'll make more than selling it to someone else for half
Right.
off and letting them sell it. You
Well,
can move it quicker, but you're not going to make more. So did they come up with a way to now move all their product quicker, or are they just now saying, we're good now? It's less of a headache.
it's kind of evolving of how consumers act, because you got to think like, you know, Nike's been around forever. And so how it originally started is, there was no online shopping. This is back in
Right,
2000.
right.
So we're about 20 years in. So you got to think, all right, so Nike coming in, the only way to get your brand out was to partner up with all these distributors, all these partner stores, Sears, Kmart, JCPenney, all these big names that's been around for almost 100 years now. And then that's how they started and, worked that partnership. But now it's gotten to the point where Nike and all these bigger brands have a name for themselves, and, also with online and e-commerce where you can actually just shop directly with them, that it's gotten to the point where, and I'm sure, and their logistics Nike's logistics are great. I mean, you mean we've bought shoes
The
and
team is crazy.
we've bought shoes and what in 4 days we've gotten the shoe, which is it's insane what they've been able to pull off. So I think that's why is they have more control now and a lot more just a lot more people are buying through Nike. So like it you really have to make a difference if you really want to partner with Nike or at least any of these big brands. You really have to kind of prove to yourself now. It's not like Nike doesn't need you guys anymore.
Well, yeah, but do you think that Nike is going to eventually hit a threshold where they're like, okay, we used to have, I'm just gonna just break it down and use it in just like smaller numbers. We used to be partnered with 50 stores, even though it's infinitely more than that. Do you think they're like, okay, now we've cut it down to 25. Once we get it to about 10 or 15, we're gonna stay there, or do you think they're eventually gonna just try and pull everything to themselves and just run everything from their own like specific, because I feel like that would get tough. I feel like there's a certain number of like retailers and partners that you're going to want to keep to just continue to get, because otherwise what you're talking about is having to build more stores because you don't want to.
Right.
I feel like
there is a balance.
We're at the point where it's like, everything is going towards online.
Yeah.
But will we ever really get to a point where there's no such thing as in-store shopping? Because
no, never.
So it's like those places that you're either going to have to, okay, hey, there's already a Foot Locker and a Dick's here. We keep these partnerships because they have stores built here. We can continue to funnel to this specific area. Otherwise, you're like, hey, pack up the crew. We need to go build a Nike store right next to these places because we're not reaching these areas. We're not reaching certain stuff like that. And that's even really small scale because we're talking about Nike, 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 like legitimately the biggest sports, like the biggest
brand in the world,
specific sports brand in the world. And you can say the same thing with Adidas. You can say the same thing with like obviously Jordan's part of Nike, but like these certain like top tier brands. It's just I feel like they're just trying to test out new things even because what they're doing now they could probably continue to do and never have a problem.
Yeah. So the way I see it is, I agree with you. I think they're only going to partner with stores where they don't have a location. So like that's why they have. They're going to continue their partners with. The article says they're going to continue their partnership with Dick's and Foot Locker. So just because I think they have distribution, but other than that, I don't see why they would stop cutting down. Like because like for instance, Kith, like love Kith. I love what they're doing with them. They always do a great job. Like, but I could definitely see Nike stop selling to Kith.
Would you imagine, just for like transitioning it to hype sneakers and stuff, like every single shoe, every Nike shoe from release day is on the sneakers app?
Oh yeah,
every single.
No, that's
shoe.
what they want.
That would be crazy.
That's what they want. 100%.
That would be so crazy. Everyone at one time. That's your only way to get the shoe.
No, I bet you in like 20 years, that's exactly how it's gonna go.
Dang man, we got 20 years to figure it out.
Right. I know, but
that's crazy.
But moving on, Landon, what we got? What's our next article?
All right, so yeah, our next article is gonna be Jayson Tatum's shoe is on the way with Jordan Brand. So one of the brightest young stars in the NBA, Jayson Tatum has ascended into the ranks of elite, having made at least 2 All-Star games and led the Boston Celtics to the playoffs. So in recognition of his talent, Jordan Brand added Jayson Tatum to their roster of athletes back in 2019, tapping him to help lead the flagship Air Jordan model. So while that responsibility is an honor for any athlete, the ultimate goal is having a personal signature shoe, and Tatum is heading in that direction. So during an appearance on the Knuckleheads podcast with a fellow Jordan Brand member, Quentin Richardson and Darius Miles, Tatum kind of teased that his Jordan Brand signature shoe could be coming in the near future. So, basically he said that he can't really give out the logistics or like the specifics yet, like of a release date, but they are working on it. So, what are your thoughts on this, potential Jayson Tatum shoe line with Jordan?
I personally am not too much, involved with the NBA. So when I hear this, Jayson Tatum, I don't really know who he is.
God.
So, I mean, that's just me. I mean, Landon bugs me all the time. He's such a big NBA fan. I mean, look what he's wearing.
Let me brush you up again then real quick.
So, I'm assuming he's a superstar.
Yeah. So
is he worth a shoe?
I think he is. So
Okay.
Ever since they signed
With
like
Jordan?
Jayson Tatum
Okay.
and Luka Doncic, Luka.
Yeah, I know
You
Luka.
know Luka at least is kind of like a household name, but Jayson Tatum and Luka Doncic, they both signed with Jordan around the same time. So ever since they signed, I've kind of been waiting on him to make
Get a
signature
PE,
shoe line.
right.
So I guess I actually had this will actually transition into another good question that I had for you because it's more of like a broad basis type question. So with Jason Tatum's getting ready to start up a signature shoe line,
Uh,
you just kind of look around, just like kind of how signature shoe lines have been for the past almost 2 decades, decade to 2 decades. So it kind of makes me wonder like just what signature lines could look like in the future because you have all of the juggernauts from Nike, like
oh
you
yeah.
got LeBron,
Yep.
KD, Kyrie, Paul George. When they retire, are we gonna start to see? Because that's what it's been. It's been like 5 lines from Nike, 5, 6. You had Kobe's line from Nike, and then you got like what? You got the Dame and the Harden from Adidas, but they're not even in double digits yet.
No.
You've got
They're young.
you've
Yeah.
got Russell Westbrook, but he's about to be on 5. Other than that, you just got Zion's brand starting with Jordan, but you got LaMelo Ball with Puma. So I'm basically starting to see like, will we start to see other shoe lines like emerge and like take over Nike? Because just from a signature line perspective, because I'm trying to figure out like Nike's got all these guys. Like you got KD's on 14, LeBron's on 19. You got these double digits, Kyrie 8. All these guys are higher
Approaching. Right.
than like the Hardens than the from other brands. So what that makes me wonder is Nike hasn't like mentioned a ton. I think their newest line would be Giannis at 3. But other than that, you've got all these other brands that are going to have athletes going forward. And it's almost going to be like flip. Like Nike hasn't really introduced any new players they're about to sign. So here in a few years, whenever you have some of these other players out of the league, it's gonna be like Adidas with already 4 lines.
Yeah,
like
it's
with
gonna
Donovan
be
Mitchell, Damian Lillard, Trey Young. Those guys already submitted. You're gonna have Zion, Russell Westbrook, potentially Luka, but and then it's almost gonna be like Nike's just got Giannis, or maybe just another player who's still actually playing. So how crazy would that look? I feel
so the way I see that is like, well, you got to think that Nike and Jordan are together.
Nike
So
and Jordan are together, but
right.
I just look at signature shoe lines. I
Right.
separated
Right.
just from that perspective. Obviously, it's all kind of falls under one brand, but whenever you talk about Jordan, you're not talking about Nike. And when you
Right.
talk about Nike, you're not talking about Jordan. I'm not talking about the Air Jordan 1 Max. No. It's the Nike Air Max 1.
Right.
I'm not talking about the Nike Jordan 1 High. I'm talking about the Air Jordan 1 High.
Right.
So it's like it's the same thing, but I separate it whenever it comes to like the finite details of like a shoe line.
Yeah. So I think it is interesting. I mean, definitely. I don't know if Nike will ever lose its reign. I mean, the runner up would be Puma to take over the NBA just because of how many people they've signed early. But you got to think there's no way that everyone that they sign early is going to be a superstar.
Well, that's the counter to that. I'd say
Right.
the runner-up is easily Adidas because you're looking at some guy like the hardest thing with the signature shoe is for most brands you got to earn it. LaMelo Ball just won Rookie of the Year, so if you want to call that earning it, okay, it's still early.
I think it's a
Puma.
preemptive.
It's
I think
Puma
Puma's a little desperate, and they happen to snag a guy early, and it's kind of almost like a Zion kind of where like Nike went or Jordan, I guess Nike or Jordan kind of went in hard early, and then like now they're kind of questioning on Zion.
Zion was the biggest wild card to me because he's the immediate like bang now, like this guy's gonna blow up in the NBA, but he's also the biggest like question mark with health.
Exactly.
So it's one of those things where it's like you need Zion in the NBA for at least 5 to 10 years for like to get any type of work.
It takes about 2 years to develop a shoe.
Yeah, right.
A year to 2. So you got to think.
He was in the league for about a year and a half before they started to get him his line.
No, before they probably announced it.
Yeah.
But I bet you as soon as he signed, they were working on him.
Yeah, no, he did talk about that a little bit on the podcast, but
it takes a while. So I don't know. I mean,
I'm just wonder what the landscape will look like.
Adidas is okay.
Is Nike gonna start? Because you got like all of Nike's athletes aside from Giannis, like KD, Kyrie, Paul George, LeBron, all on the back half of their career, easily on the back half.
Yeah.
Paul George has a smallest shoe line out of that at 5. Or a youngest shoe line out of that at 5, and even he's like been in the league for a long time.
Yeah.
Like he didn't get this shoe line a few years in. He got it like 7 years in, 8 years in, something like that. So I mean, it just makes me wonder like just what the signature like is Nike. My main question is Nike gonna start to pick out a few athletes and be like, hey, let's get the ball rolling, or if they already have, I just wonder who they are.
I think yes, but I also think that Nike is losing footing and the playing ground is going to get level. But overall, no matter what, if Nike, if these these players are going to eventually retire. So obviously the playing field is going to get leveled because even if Nike signs and makes, player exclusives of these younger talent, it's you still got to prove themselves, and then people still are going to be like, I don't know if I should buy his shoe. Like it's going to take a few years. So I think overall it's going to level out where all these all these teams, or not teams, but brands are going to be in competition again. There's not going to be one giant, but overall, I think ultimate factor is, whoever makes the best shoe is going to succeed the best.
And that's been Nike for a long time.
Exactly.
And it's honestly it's pretty much stayed that way. I'll have to see how the LaMelo Ball comes out like in a few days, like in a week, and then you obviously have Kawhi and New Balance, and the thing with that is they have a chance to. I wonder, like, if these brands are gonna try and like start to sign one signature guy, like one big, like Converse even signed Shea Gilgeous, who's
It's
like
tough,
a young
though.
guy from like Oklahoma City, but it's like there's only so many people in the league that are really gonna like capture the attention of like fans and continue, and it's got to be prolonged success. You can't invest into a shoe line and then just have it dip. You saw Adidas kind of have to struggle with that a little bit with D Rose.
Well,
Whenever like injuries kind of start to come into play, but how early do you pull the? But what if you end up signing someone and then they end up walking before you get them a signature shoe? Like I know early on, like Andrew Wiggins, whenever he went first out of Kansas, he signed with like Adidas, and like they were doing all these Andrew Wiggins Adidas stuff and John Wall Adidas stuff, and then like injuries for John Wall. All that shuts off. Like I got a pair of John Walls over there, just kind of all of a sudden just shuts down because you're not relevant. And then Andrew Wiggins goes from being the most one of the next LeBron to averaging 15 or 18 and being like a good average basketball player. Like
so
it makes it really interesting.
Yeah, two factors. You got to find good talent, and then you also have to make a good shoe behind that talent. Like, even if it's good talent, like you're not going to be able to sell a good shoe. You could, but like.
But the way that it is right now, I feel like it's almost what the good stuff is out there. Everyone's got to kind of try and create. It's almost like the sneaker scene kind of reminds me of like sneaker cleaning product. Like, it's all out there. You kind of have to tweak it up. You have to make it your own.
Right.
You can't take the Nike Cushlon or the Nike Air Zoom Strobel
obviously.
And put it inside of the Adidas.
Right.
But, like, you got to just tweak it up a little bit. You got to find the Adidas Boost. You got to find the Bounce, whatever works the best.
Right. That's true. All shoes are going to be decent.
Make a bad shoe,
right?
Unless you really just put no effort into it. But we saw Adidas with Trae Young. They put some suede pieces on there and stuff like that.
It was
like,
okay.
There's no reason to put out a bad shoe, though.
Right.
It's not a bad shoe. They put Boost in it.
Yeah, they put Boost in it, but then also the lacing setup, like you said, is not good.
Weird.
So like,
the lacing was weird, and the traction didn't end up being that great. So I think there's a few factors.
So like that's tough though. Like that's your first signature like shoe. You got to go out on a bang, and you come out with an okay.
I think your first signature shoe and your second signature shoe, like I talked about, is like you
True.
put it out there, you see what happens, and then you make the tweaks. So I would say the first and second signature shoe lines are normally like trying to figure out what's going to be the best playing experience, and then you kind of like build off one of those two.
That's
models.
true.
But
all right,
we'll go ahead and move on.
Moving on. We got a crazy, out of this world, you could say, article. So a custom New Balance sneaker that's made with a 4.5 billion year old meteorite. That's right. So Netflix and So the Buy have came together and revealed a custom New Balance 550. So this was created in celebration of an upcoming Adam McKay film on Netflix called Don't Look Up. Not only do these sneakers feature a rare meteorite, but they also will be rare because only one pair will exist. The meteorite is used on this custom New Balance was born over 4.5 billion years ago, and then the sneaker is going to be released this December 17th for auction, starting at $13,000. So Landon, what are your thoughts on this sneaker? I mean, I have a picture right there, but it's pretty cool if you guys want to look it up. I think it's a cool collab, but I don't know. Would you pay $13K for a meteorite shoe?
I pay 13. Don't ask me.
One of one.
Well,
if you had the money.
If I had the money, yes. If I had the money, I'd pay for anything.
If you had $14,000,
if I had 14 to my name, I don't know if I trust that. Yeah, 13K is too much. We're getting comments in the chat now. 13K is too much. I agree with that. But the shoe itself looks cool. What did you say the design was?
It's a 550.
It's a 550.
Yeah.
So the 550, they're at least striking while the iron's hot with
Right.
the design. That's what you always kind of see. Whatever
Right,
whatever
550.
the popular
Yeah.
model is kind of what you go based off of. But the design is super cool. The meteorite idea is nice. One of one. That's really interesting. I have an article that's like super limited coming up here pretty soon too. But one of one, it doesn't get more limited than that.
Well,
It's cool that it's gonna be for auction though. I can't
Yeah.
imagine that. I'm assuming like what did they make the shoe for like the main character to wear or something like that? And then
I
it's going
think
up for auction, or is it just like a
no,
display?
I think it's more of just like a publicity kind of stunt. Just like, hey, we're gonna collab with. I think because one of the actors in there wears New Balances, so like
Yeah, but like, is the shoe gonna be? Do you know if
no,
it's gonna be
no,
worn
no,
in the film?
no,
It's
no,
just
no,
gonna
no,
be
no.
displayed. I
Yeah,
was gonna
it's just
say,
like
can you imagine being the like main character wearing the shoe and
Oh,
then be
yeah.
like, no, can I just keep them?
right.
Like, it's just my shoe. Can I just keep it?
It's crazy, but
That's
I
what
don't know.
sad.
I think it's a pretty cool article. I think it's a pretty cool shoe. It's cool what they're able to do with sneakers these days. I would have never thought they'd be able to do
I know,
this,
right?
but
What you can integrate and stuff. Like we
Yeah.
have the Swarovski right up there to your back corner that's got crystals in it.
yeah,
And then like the Air Maxes would have them built in. These ones have like this. These come with a screwdriver where you screw on that upper, and you've
yeah.
got auto lacing shoes, and you've got all different kind. The color changing. Color changing was kind of big this year. I know Yeezy started getting into that. And
Oh yeah, yeah. The
just like all
UV.
the different things. you
Yeah,
can
they're
do.
getting
Yeah,
very
the
creative.
the UV rays and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I'm. $13,000. To go back to your initial question, $13,000. I don't know if I like the 550 model enough. Anyways, it is a one of one pair, but you're not even asking a good question because would I get it for $13,000? It doesn't matter. No one's getting them for that. It's gonna go up. That is the starting
Right.
price of the auction.
Right.
Would I get it for $1 million? What it sells for? No, probably not. It's gonna sell for a lot of money. So, I mean, it'll be interesting. It's a cool look. It's a cool design, but $13,000 starting price. Sounds good.
I'm gonna
Because
put
if
a
I
bid
could
in.
get it- If I could get it for $13,000, of course, I'd put it on credit because I'd sell it for $500,000 the next day and just take the money in real quick.
Well, I don't know about
it'd be easy.
500, but all right, moving on, Landon. What we got next?
All right, so for our next article, we are going to be looking at the Nike Air Zoom GT Jump is finally set to release. So, originally introduced back in March as part of the Nike Basketball Greater Than series, the Air Zoom GT Jump is now ready to make its debut. So, the Nike Air Zoom GT Jump does come constructed with, the tooling that includes a stacked Zoom Air system, a full-length Zoom Air strobel, a P-Bax jump frame, and a jump wire woven upper. So, I mean, this particular colorway is going to be highlighted with red, purple, blue, and neon contrasting accents. So, we actually did review the Air Zoom GT cut,
And the
of
run.
course, and the run, cut and the run. So, I'm pretty pumped for this shoe because it is going to complete the. It's so funny. We were talking about it the other day. I'm
Yeah.
like, I think the GT Jump just kind of fell off the face of the earth, and then bang. It's like literally later on that day, it said, here's the first images. They're finally surfaced. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But, what are your thoughts on this new shoe? Yeah, about this, just like the design, how it's going to complete, because you've edited my videos. So you kind of know what I talked about, kind of how the first shoe shook up. So what do you think about this?
Well, I don't know because like from a look standpoint, when Landon first showed me these shoes, I was like, yo, these look just like the LeBrons that we just got in.
I know. I
they
had to
look-
double look.
They almost look like this LeBron 19 here. It's so weird. I don't even know if they use the same technology in them, but I don't know. It's interesting. Would you really need a shoe that makes you jump higher? Like is that
Yes,
in basketball
100%.
overcutting?
Huh?
Overcutting?
Depends on what you struggle with.
Are you gonna jump from the 3-point line and dunk?
Am I? Not me.
No, but
Maybe someone out there.
I don't
Not
know.
this. It's not like a moon shoe.
No,
It's not going to be that
but
much.
that's what I'm
But
expecting.
you heard it. It was just like, what did it say? It was like, because I looked at a photo of it too. I'll have to show you the photo. But
I mean, it looks like
shows
it's got
you
like
the
a spring in
separated
it.
shoe of,
Yeah.
like, every single like layer of cushioning. It's like, P-Bax frame. You got the strobel unit, the Zoom Air system. It's like, I'm actually pretty excited for this. And one of my things I was like you pointed out about the LeBron. I like literally went back. I was like, I don't think it necessarily looks like this LeBron, but it looks like a LeBron, like kind of the overall structure that some
Yeah.
of his have followed in the past. But I just think it's kind of cool because like the GT cut was a low.
Yeah.
And then like the GT run was sort of a mid. So
Yeah.
it went up a little higher. And like
Yeah.
this is a high. So
Yeah.
they kind of top off. They kind of hit all three, like the low, mid, high,
True.
in just one little shoe line. And I think it's kind of interesting because if you look at the photo, it's got that same eclipse plate like the Jordan 36s. The
Yeah.
35s, 34s
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
got that gap on the
Yep.
bottom there. So
Yeah.
I always like that. I think that's a cool design, having that little hollowed out part.
It's gonna be definitely interesting. I'm sure we're gonna get it in. If it's hopefully it's a lot more
In stock.
in
the
stock,
GT. But those
right?
were never hard to get. They were just they just stopped being made.
Yeah.
I think like they were selling out. And
Well, I
like,
think it was the pandemic
yeah,
that
well,
really
like,
kind of shut down production.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, it was last summer. Remember, because we were
Yeah.
doing it outside is when we had to.
Yeah, that was
do the
like middle
recording.
of COVID.
No. That was like a year after middle of COVID. Middle of COVID, because I got married last summer.
It was not. It was before then though. It's
Huh?
way before then.
Yeah, it would have been more like March. So it was
Yeah.
still. It wasn't like COVID wasn't over, but
Well, I
it
think
was getting better.
anyway, it was. Well, I think it definitely shut down production. That's why there's not many GT cuts
It
out
could
there.
have,
But
wouldn't they have picked it back up by now? Then, if they're already
well, I
ready
bet
to push,
they're trying. I bet you in like a few months once
GT
the shipments
cut
come
have not
in.
released in I don't know how long. It's been months though.
I've seen different colors. So
Like teased colorways.
no, that live on like Dick's. They just don't have many sizes. They have like 8. They have like a 5, 8.5, and like in 15.
Should have bought the 8.5. Probably could have sold it for like
Yeah.
$400.
But
if it was actually
but
live on there.
it's cool. I don't know. I can't really say anything about them because
I'm
I don't
just
have them in
happy.
hand. But
I'm just happy they finally are
Yeah.
completing, because it was rumored. It was like, it was all I would talk. It wasn't all I was talking about, but whenever I would talk about it, it's like, it's a 3-pack. It's a 3-pack. Air zoom cut, zoom
Jump,
zoom
run.
run. Here you go. It's a 3-pack. No, look, here's the GT cut. Here's the GT run. And then they couldn't even find photos. Like,
Yeah.
not even a teased jump. It just finally came out. So I'm just happy they finally are at least putting it out there for us to see how it turns out. But
Yeah, moving on though, we're moving on to the Air Jordan 11, not the cool gray that's coming out tomorrow, but the Air Jordan 11 Adapt returns in the University Blue colorway. So these are the Air Jordan 11s that uses Nike's adaptive fit technology to perfectly lace up your shoes to your foot. This is a second colorway of the Adapt Jordan 11s, and personally, I do like this color, but I've always thought that Adapts are just so bulky because, you know, these shoes are built-in electric motors and such, but they also do come with a wireless charging pad for your kicks as well, and then you can also use Nike's app to control your kicks and lace them up. So, Landon, we've gotten these, you know, this Adapt shoe lie in. You know, what are your thoughts on the Nike Adapts? Is it something of the future, or is it kind of gimmicky right now? And would you ever eventually buy self-lacing shoes or just this Jordan 11 Adapt?
I would love to. I would love to buy, like, I haven't. We got the what did we get? We got the the Adapt BB something like what was it? The Air Mag ones, the ones that were like supposed to be the Marty McFly, the little Back to the Future colorway, and those were cool. Those were really sweet, but like, I wonder how they are like performance based, because whenever you're talking about Air Jordan 11, you can wear it casually.
Right. No, it's
But
definitely
whenever
casual.
you're talking about Adapt BB, that's a basketball shoe.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the kids on my brother's team actually plays in them, so I don't know how good they actually are, like from like a, because I've never actually performed in them or played in them or anything like that. But the concept is sweet. I do love it's just about the details for me. Like, you're literally putting your shoes on a little charger. That's just cool. Like, I just think that aspect is pretty cool. You can change the color. That's pretty cool.
I think I would forget. I like, can you imagine like you bring the Adapt BBs and you're like, oh, coach, I can't play. Forgot to charge my shoes last
What
night.
does that have to do with anything? Surely that can't affect the actual shoe itself.
It won't lace if you don't charge them.
That would be the most ridiculous thing. I don't know if I believe that. I haven't really dealt with it much. There's not a manual override.
I don't think so.
That'd be so weird. And the whole concept is weird, because I've actually,
It's
the ones that
cool,
we got in weren't my
but
size. I didn't even get to try them on.
no.
And I haven't really messed with them too much because I'm not like, I guess, big into like the whole auto lacing Adapt thing.
Yeah,
It'd
yeah.
be cool. Honestly, the price range is always a little higher, so I normally like just don't even consider about for personal at all. So, I mean, the shoes look clean. Air Jordan 11's a really nice model. They've done it on Air Jordan 11s before too. I don't remember.
Yeah, this is the second colorway. I can't remember what the first
blue
was.
is gonna look better because the University Blue is always great. I think it was like a crimson or something like that is what they released in the first time. But I will give you, the Air Jordan 11 Adapt does look a little bulkier.
Yeah.
Like, it does look a little bit bulkier.
Well, it has to be.
It has to be. It's gonna have to be. But I mean, it'll be okay. I think that I am going to stay away from that for a while, just personally, because I don't like how the retail. Obviously, I understand why the retail price is higher because it has to be whenever you put that much more into a shoe.
Right.
The same reason, like these Jordan 1 Gore-Tex that are like right over here to my right, they retail for 200
Right.
because they put the water resistant
Right.
material
It's
and all the
waterproof.
extra stuff. Sometimes that's why they jump the price up a little bit. So I kind of feel that's kind of my stance on the Air Jordan 11 Adapt. But
Yeah, but moving on, Landon, what do we got next?
all right, so our next article is going to be: Did Deadstock Coffee and Adidas just release the greatest coffee sneaker collab ever? So the shoes in question, officially named the Deadstock Coffee Adidas ZX, launched in vanishingly limited quantities, as just 150 pairs were made, and now they are completely sold out, according to Deadstock founder Ian Williams. He said they're gone, and I mean gone. So the shoe itself is worth taking a closer look into. An intricate interplay of coffee references, embellishments, and evocations with a thorough line of design and intentionality. So from the real burlap to the screen printed 3 stripes to the Easter egg details just throughout the entire shoe, it just begs the question if there has ever been a coffee sneaker collab like this one. So, I guess apparently Adidas approached Deadstock about the idea a few years ago, and they kind of pushed it back because they said that, like, if they were going to do it, they wanted it to come out super nice.
Right.
So they had been working on them, but, like I said, super limited quantities, not one of one like your New Balance shoe, but one of 150. 150 pairs were made. So I guess the day that they released, which was like on Black Friday, there was a line all the way around the shop just trying to get the shoes, and they even released online a little bit.
Oh,
they
really?
just sold out immediately, of course. It's only 150 shoes. You can get bots that'll check those out in about 4 seconds. So I mean, the quantity was super limited. The shoe was super clean. Honestly, it looks really nice. I'm not like super big into coffee or anything like that. I know that's more of your thing, but
Yeah.
I guess they were kind of originally working on more than just one color scheme. There was like a mocha, like a latte color scheme, but the details on the shoe are crazy. I think that's what makes them so limited, is like the personal touch, like the screen printed, all the different stuff like that. And it hasn't even shown up on resale markets. Like you can't find
That's
it. It's
crazy.
150 pairs. So I think a lot of like the purpose was to get them to like
Right, true
customers,
fans,
to,
right.
like, customers of the people. So that's why they did it in store. And they were online saying like the ones that sold online, they even believe were to like true customers of the shoe. But I'm like, I don't know how you're going to monitor that.
Right.
Maybe like, what were you doing? Screening names of people that were trying to check it out. Like,
Right.
yeah, you get approval, you don't. But just a lot of the pairs were sold to customers they know. But what do you think about this release?
I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a cool concept. I don't really like the ZX model. I think it'd be really cool on something else. I don't know. I just
I feel like
they're
Adidas doesn't
okay.
have a ton of models that they can really customize. Like the Adidas hype really relies on a lot of Yeezy.
right.
And what, like maybe an Ultra Boost, maybe an NMD. What else do you?
NMD would be cool.
Yeah,
I think an
kind of,
NMD,
but NMD's not all that different.
I don't know. Yeah,
look.
I think they need a better model. They need to go.
A better customization, like the Jordan 1, the Jordan Low, the
Right. They need
MX90,
I mean, they have like
MX1.
the Superstar is kind of equivalent to like the
Forum
a little
is a good
bit
one right now. The Forum, they should have done a Forum low or high.
maybe.
That's what
Yeah.
Bad Bunny.
Yeah,
all
Forums would have been good. I
the
think
Forum
too.
probably would have been
It's
a good
okay.
one to go off of right now.
I really like the bag. I think that's a cool concept that it comes in kind of like a kind of sack, kind of like a coffee bag. I think that's pretty cool. I wonder if they smell like coffee. I bet they do, but I don't know. I think it's cool that a coffee brand, especially a brand called Deadstock Coffee, like it makes total sense that Adidas reached out to them. I think that's a cool concept. I wish it was more involved with more than just 150 pairs. I wondered why they limited it so much, but
I think it's because of the details. That's the only reason I could think that they'd really limit it
Right.
to that specific low amount of shoes. It's
Right.
just they were screen printing some of the stuff and all that different stuff.
yeah, or
It
maybe they
just-
just wanted to test it out with them, But I think it's a really cool
Home Personal
concept.
Coffee Shop getting their collab. I guess
Yeah.
they've been working on it for a while. So I mean, I'm not.
I wasn't expecting Deadstock Coffee to get a collab. Why not like Starbucks? Where's Starbucks on this? Getting on
Starbucks
sneakers.
collab.
That'd be crazy. I think they should. That'd be really cool. Starbucks logo on the tongue, little green highlights
with
everywhere.
Adidas. Starbucks needs to collab with Jordan
Right?
and Nike if they're really
Nah.
gonna do it.
Here's the
Starbucks-
thing: Nike doesn't do that. Only
What,
Adidas
like brand,
does.
like retailer.
No, like does like odd things like that. Nike's like more kind of like people focused.
They do
Like
like a lot of high fashion stuff, like
right.
the
Yeah.
Armaniers, the like Dior,
Yeah.
the different stuff
Sakai's
like that.
Fragment.
Adidas does put out more like random stuff. Like
Yeah.
they do a whole bunch of like Simpsons and
Yeah.
just like random like TV show collabs,
Yeah.
Scooby Doo,
Yeah.
Mystery Machine type Monsters Inc. shoes and stuff like that. And they obviously just had
Lego.
that Kerwin Frost with the human face collab.
Oh boy.
That shoe was so crazy.
Still in my nightmares.
I honestly that shoe is horrifying, so scary.
But
Oh, he said, we got one right here. We got imagine a Dunkin' collab, Dunkin' Donuts, Dunkin' Donuts. But what is your logo
Would you-
even?
would
What
you-
would you put it on?
Dunkin's a D.
Nike Dunk Dunkin' Donuts.
Yo, that'd be sick.
What the
If-
Nike Dunkin' Donuts low?
If Nike came
That's
back,
good.
they went, oh, okay, that's cute, Dunkin', or that's cute, Dead Stock Coffee. Here's Nike's Dunkin' Donuts Dunks.
Nike Dunk in Donuts. What in the world,
Whoa,
dude? We
Nike.
need to get on the phone with Nike.
call us up.
Dude, that would actually.
You heard
be
it here
really sick,
first.
though.
I would want those
Nike
so
Dunk.
bad.
That makes you wonder what other shoes out there are there that you could do that with. I don't know. I'm gonna spend the rest of the stream trying to think about it.
Yeah,
though.
but we don't have
That's
time for
solid.
that. Landon, wrap this up. We got on our last our last article. What do we got?
Okay, so for our last article of the day, we are going to have the Yeezy Boost 350 V2 Beluga is releasing with reflective threads. So Adidas Yeezy really hit their stride near the latter half of the year. Each month has just been more release packed than the previous month. So the Yeezy Boost 350 V2 Beluga Reflective is appearing for the first time following the non-reflective version they released in 2016. So the colorway, it's going to follow like the original very closely. The prime net's going to be speckled with the orange accents and somewhat kind of drowned out by that gray upper. They come dressed with the Silhouette's classic SPLY 350 branding, of course, and then you're going to have the fanfare reflective threads that kind of spread throughout the entire shoe. So it's going to be ending the year on a bright and festive note. So, you know, the Yeezy 350, it's my favorite model.
Oh, yeah, for
Yeezy
sure.
From all time. But, you know, what are your thoughts on this release?
I think it's cool that they're bringing it back. I didn't know when you were talking to me about this article. I didn't know that it was. They've never done a reflective. I always thought they always did a reflective of both colorways when these were
It's not
released.
always but usual. Like, I mean,
I remember the
feel like that's
blacks, the
way it
black
used to be.
they were.
It almost
Yeah, it
the
was
way
like
it used
very
to be.
limited reflective quantities, and then it was a little bit.
Non-reflective.
or
It's
not-
just non-reflective would always just be like retail price.
Oh,
on
right.
the aftermarket.
True,
And
true.
reflective would always sell for more.
Yeah.
Like if you're a reseller.
So I don't know. I've heard some rumors that there's over 1 million pairs sold of these. I don't know if they're all going to be reflective, but assuming that you're only releasing reflective, maybe. But I don't know. I think it's cool because a lot of people did miss out on this in 2017. I think the hype is still there for Yeezy 350s.
Oh, the hype will never go away for
But-
350s until like they have to start retroing them.
But I mean, resale on them, I don't know. Is it gonna hold? Is it gonna be like one of the creams? The creams where they had over 1 million pairs and it actually held and it was really good.
What about the Zions? The Zions, they had a ton of pairs.
Zions
And they did dip.
and they
for
dipped
a long time,
hard.
but they came back.
They
They
did.
came back. They did. They've come back
Okay.
to a like a good.
I hope so,
a
man.
good place.
Those
Not
things.
like a great place, but a good place.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. Hopefully we get them in because I remember seeing those shoes and I was like wow, what are those? That was like one of the first Yeezys I've ever seen. So it'd be really cool to kind of
Isn't it weird
full circle to
think
get them
back
back.
to that? Like,
Oh, we were
before
just
those
babies. back
well,
then.
Yeezy. I guess Yeezy just had that new compact model release. This is kind of what they look like.
Yeah, socknet.
It comes in
upper.
a different box too. It's a socknet. It honestly has a really nice feel to it. It feels like it is going to be one of those free run shoes that you put your foot in.
Yeah.
And it just expands.
Right.
So I feel like this is going to expand. It's very thick and it's going to like mold to your foot really well. But like just the look of the 350, I just feel like they really knocked
Yeah,
you know,
they did.
that
They did
design just
so good.
kind of out of the park. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's the 350s. I don't think there's ever going to be a real issue as far as, but just with the way the market is now, it's like there's not really a I don't even want to say GR, but like a color scheme you can put out there that's not a collab that you can just buy in full confidence that like this shoe's going to do amazing. Like every single shoe, the Jordan 3, whatever color, the
Royalties
Jordan 1
did well.
Light Fusion Red Jordan 1s are selling for like $40 under retail.
Yeah.
Jordan 1
It's-
highs.
Well, those
That's
were.
crazy.
Wasn't
And
those
they're nice.
women's or no? Were those
No.
men's?
The women's court purples kind of did the
Oh,
same
those
thing. They're
things
all
too.
like like smaller
Yeah, I
sizes
don't
are
know.
all tanked, and it's a really clean shoe. So it just like
It's a weird period we're going through for resale, but this 350, I'm excited. I'm glad they're bringing it back. I mean, December's already been crazy. There's already a 700 drop today. You got some more. I think foam runners are dropping tomorrow. So it's just I don't know why Adidas did it, but Adidas is literally dumping everything that they know
I know
at
they
us
got a bunch
on
of
December.
restocks coming too. Like they got foam runners restocking, they got slides
It's
restocking and stuff like
it's
that.
overwhelming. It's definitely Yeezy December here. What is it? What is it called? Yeezember, something like
What?
that.
You're
Yeah.
making that up.
No, I swear I saw that.
You saw Yeez Simber.
Yeah.
That doesn't flow off the tongue.
Yeecember.
Yee Simber.
Yeah. Y
Yeecember.
E Sember. Yeecember. And if instead of December.
I'm trying to think of a better way to put it, but I got nothing. It's still not good. I don't like it. Yee Simber.
Yeecember.
Nope. That's going to be a good place to wrap up this episode. That's going to wrap up this episode of Laced Up. Thank you guys for taking some time to watch. But until next time, peace.